Good morning, everyone. So it's 6:30 here, a.m., 6:30 a.m., Eastern Standard Time. I'm a little late to the party this morning. It is the day that we call Wednesday. It's the date that we call the 19th. It's the year that we call 2025. I hope you're all having a beautiful morning. Don't follow any links or emails in the comments section of the channel soliciting you for anything that would be scammers. I don't really have a problem with it over here on YouTube. When I was doing the Rumble channel, that was being spammed all the time. But I think it's good to stay in the habit of saying it should the Rumble channel ever get going again. And even if not, if people start soliciting things on this channel, it's just good to say it. Don't fall victim to scammers. The healing intentions are always set for you folks, always, always, always. So if you so choose, stand in your power, decree that for your highest and greatest good, only and always. I'm still behind on reading all the comments. I've still got, I think, not yesterday's reading, but the reading before I have to go in and read and respond to. And I don't know if I've done the other ones or not. Life has just been kind of, just is what it is right now for me. But anyway, I hope you're all having a beautiful morning. Gonna get a sip of my coffee. All right. So let's get started. Let's get a deck of cards going here. I have appointments that begin in 2 hours, and so I obviously can't do a very long reading because I still have to get my button into the shower and the morning chores started, and Lukey Duke's gonna need some breakfast cooked. I get up really early, you guys, and I'm rocking and rolling from the minute my feet hit the floor. And time just moves so quickly. You know, I can't believe I've been up this long already. It's just, time just really moves, doesn't it? And the older we get, the faster it goes. So Luke looks comfortable over there. I can see him in the camera. All right, so let's take a look at the Savior Complex. It was mentioned to me yesterday that a lot of people are disappointed in President Trump. You know, people that voted for him. Obviously, the people that don't like him, so they would obviously be disappointed. But it was mentioned to me that a lot of people that voted for President Trump are disappointed. And it just made me think of the Savior Complex, where everybody just expects that something or someone is going to save them or make everything all better. And that's really an asinine view of the world. If we're always looking outside of ourselves to save us, save us, save us, we're not really growing as a person, right? We're meant to save ourselves, I believe. If we don't like something, take action, make change. We're also, and you know, it may take a while before that happens, but nothing of value comes easily. And how much can we expect from one man or one government or one team? And why are we truly disappointed? Are we disappointed because of a narrative that we're taking on and believing to be so? How does that truly impact our lives? Happiness really does have to come from within rather than seeking it outside of ourselves. There's so much to this, and you know, I've talked about all of this over and over and over again here on this channel over the years. Um, true happiness comes from within. We can hold tons of compassion for those that are less fortunate than us. We can send energy and love and light. We can actually get up off our duffs and create a movement to try to help and create some change. So we're actually putting action into what it is that we're choosing. And we're letting the compassion drive us rather than sit us still and wallow. But for everything that we see that creates a feeling of empathy and compassion in us, doesn't it always also make you grateful? Like when I see the homeless population that we have in our area, and most of them are drug addicts, I'm eternally grateful that I haven't made the same choices that they made. My heart goes out to them. I have compassion and empathy. I've stopped giving money and started giving food because we know where the money will go, right? It doesn't matter. Don't give them your bottles. Don't give them your change. You know where that money is going to go if you do that. Give food. But happiness has to come from within. We have to be happy from within. My life has been challenging. It's been a struggle. There have been times that I've been cold and I've been hungry and come this close to losing my home because I didn't have the money to make the payments. And I really had to figure it out. And, I've been through challenges in my life, many of them. Somehow I always remained happy. And I'm grateful. Maybe that's part of my personality. Maybe that's part of my connection with my Creator. I don't know. But even when I didn't have heat and I was bundled up freezing and uncomfortable as hell and a little snippety because cold kind of pisses me off, I was grateful I had the roof over my head, right? When I've been in immense pain, I've been grateful for the bed and the pillow and the blankets that I've had. When I haven't had money for food, I've said, well, at least I've got a home. I mean, I can always find what to be grateful for. And I think that's what keeps me happy. Not to mention, I am able to look around at the beauty around me. This morning, there's a pretty good frost out there. And I know once the sun comes up and really starts shining, it's going to look like a million diamonds on the lawn. And that's going to be beautiful. I enjoy watching the squirrels and the birds and playing with the goats and playing with my dog. I enjoy simple morning conversations with my son. We sometimes don't talk, but we send each other cute little animal clips, and that brings me happiness. I don't know. I don't understand this constant, I'm unhappy because the world is so bad. You're never going to be happy. If the world is bad in your view, or if it's good in your view, if you can't be happy from inside, then you're never going to be happy. Doesn't matter. Everything could be perfect, and you would still find reasons to bitch and be unhappy if you're not happy from the inside out. So let's take a look at this. Yesterday we got that, there's been a vibrational shift. And I believe I'm seeing it in the physical actions of people, right? I believe I'm seeing it from people putting up decorations. And I don't do a lot of interacting with people all the time. Like, you know, obviously if I was standing behind a counter waiting on people, I would be interacting with a lot of people all the time. I do, however, have to get out there and grocery shop and hit the stores, and I don't feel like the atmosphere has been overly grumpy or ugly or shitty like I have seen at times, especially in the last 5 years. I feel like the atmosphere is lighter. And that makes me happy, but I was happy to begin with. I'm happy to begin with. Even in my grief, I am looking at my blessings and I'm holding them close to me. So I don't know. For me, it's really hard for me to grasp how people can just... I'm unhappy for 4 years because the pretendency is running the show. During the whole pretendency, were the policies awful? Yeah. Was that... all of that shit, was it terrible? Yeah, that stuff was. But my life was still good. I still loved, I still laughed, I still enjoyed nature, I still enjoyed my animals, I still enjoyed my family, I still gave thanks to my life and my blessings. I was still in gratitude. I was still connected to my Creator, who I talked to consistently. My life was still good. Did I have struggles during that 4 years? Yeah. You know what, though? I've struggled my whole life. You know, I have physical problems that I've been having to deal with for a very, very long time. I don't let it get me down. You know, I do the best I can. I give thanks for what I've got. You know, has money been an issue? Sure. But I give gratitude. I don't know. I don't know why people put so much energy into what's out there, what's going on out there. When we put our energy into our blessings and what we're grateful for, and we see that reflecting back at us more and more. So if we're running around with a shitty attitude, we're going to bump into a lot of people with a shitty attitude because we're a vibrational match. So the universe will just give you more of what you're radiating with, and it will validate you in that way, right? And if you're truly happy, you're going to run into people and have experiences with other people that are truly happy, because you'll be in a vibrational match. And if you're seeing things that aren't making you feel very good, that's a mirror. That's mirroring to you something inside of yourself that needs attention and healing, in my humble opinion. So with one card, I'm going to ask, please and thank you, can you give us, you know, we're connecting with Creator. We want Creator's opinion, our Creator. Whatever label you want to put on our Creator, whether you want to call our Creator God, or the Great I Am, or Source. I just don't believe we've been given the correct name for a lot of stuff. That's just me. And I don't put a lot of value into what somebody says I should be saying, calling, naming, what this means, what that means, that this has been proven or that has been proven. I just don't put a lot of value into that. Personally, I believe what I've experienced to be true because it's my experience. And then I even have to step back from my experience and ask if I'm interpreting this via my ego or my essence, right? I question everything I think I know. I'm very open-minded, but I don't put my eggs all in that basket. I believe I'm here learning, and I believe we're all here being manipulated. So my trust goes into my Creator and my spiritual team and my experiences, really honestly. And after that, anyone can say anything, and I just, I take everything with a grain of salt, basically. So let me get more coffee. And you know why I do that? Because 10 people can watch an accident unfold in front of them. All of them standing right in a row, watching this happen right in front of them. And when you go and you ask each one individually what happened, there's going to be a different story. Do you see? So unless I've personally experienced it for myself and then questioned how I'm interpreting it via the ego or the essence, then none of it truly matters. What does matter is what comes from our heart and our essence. That's what matters in the bigger scheme of things. So with one card, I am, obviously, you guys know how I do this. I connect with my Creator, the Creator of all in creation, that created all in creation, that loves all in creation. I am connecting with my highest version of self that is directly connected to Creator and funneling that light down through the Creator and into me on a regular basis. I am connecting with that spark of light that is Creator energy that is within me, that I was plucked out of, that I was created from, and that I will go back to, right? I am asking my spiritual team, my spirit guides that agreed to come here and help me and guide me and protect me and heal me and enlighten me and do everything they can energetically for me to the best of their ability while I'm here doing this 3D journey, that have my highest and greatest good for intentions only and always, to help me in the communication, because they know me, how we can get the message to the clearest of my human abilities, right? Only truth is welcome here. We don't care if the truth is going to feel icky. We don't care if it's going to feel great. We don't care if it's neither here nor there. We just want truth. And that's all we will accept, and we decree that. And only that which holds that love vibration is welcome here. Only that which is holding the love vibration is welcome here. All of these decrees are made. And so that we can get a message that is as clear and concise as we possibly can, I work to make a very clear message, a very clear question. Because we have a lot of ego here. Our highest self doesn't have ego. Our Creator, honestly, all of this, I am a hateful, spiteful, jealous God. That's ego. That's bullshit. Our Creator doesn't hold ego the way that we do here in the 3D world. And our spirit guides have moved out of ego. They don't hold that anymore. So they're so literal, and we have all of this ego that craps things up, right? So I do work to try to make the question as concise as I possibly can. And what I really want to know is what our Creator, our highest selves, and all of our teams, our spirit guides that aren't caught up in ego, that see things from a place of essence. With one card, what do they think of humanity's savior complex, where they're always looking for, Jesus to come back and save them? Well, geez, you've just put an awful big load on Jesus. Like, he was here teaching us how to save ourselves. If we're connected to that energy and we believe in his teachings, then why don't we stand in the power that he was trying to get us to stand in? And, we put all this energy into our governments. Why doesn't President Trump or the White Hats or the this or the that save us? And let's take everything we think we know out of the equation. Because I believe for a long time we have had really good people working to the positive to benefit we humans. Long before, the Obama administration, long before that, long before Kennedy, working in humanity's behalf. That's my belief. But geez, we've got to get off our duffs and be part of it, sitting back, bitching, complaining, fussing, whining, being all depressed and in the doldrums, and wah, boo-hoo, someone save me, in my opinion, is a waste of life. What did we come here for if we're not going to be active in our own journey? If we're not going to participate in our own saving? If we're not going to be part of a change? I don't know. That's just me. It's just me, I don't know. So I want to know, please and thank you, from Spirit's perspective, from my Creator's perspective. When you look upon humanity and you see humanity caught up in this, I'm not happy unless I have things. I'm not happy if everything out there isn't the way I think it should be. I'm not happy unless someone is saving me. With one card, can you show me? And I know that you don't judge. That's why you gave us free will. But just show me with one card where that puts us on a growth scale, on a emotional and soul level growth scale. When the majority of people are still seeking outside of themselves, where are we really in the evolution of our growth? Please and thank you. And I know that my team knows what the hell I'm talking about. And that's why it's important to have our teams. Just with one card, please and thank you. Wants to fall. I'm going to take two. All right. So the card that wanted to fall is the moon. So we're allowing ourselves to be puppeted. when we're in that. And we're not receiving our messages fully. So with the moon, that's a higher arcana card. So being stuck in this save me complex and this I'm not happy unless, and I'm disappointed in this leader and I want this person to save me or whatever. We're not in control of ourselves. We're allowing ourselves to be manipulated and controlled by sources outside of ourselves. So literally we're just puppets. We're just these puppets if we're continuing to stay in that mindset and that emotional, in my opinion, it's a lack of emotional intellect and it's a lack of emotional maturity. But if we're there in that always, I can't be happy unless everybody thinks like I do, or everybody, or if my government's doing exactly what I think they should be doing, or if Jesus isn't here taking care of us, or if someone's not saving us, or if everybody doesn't think the same way, and you know what I mean? We're just being puppeted, manipulated and puppeted, and then we're not in control of our own lives, our own minds, our own hearts, our own essence, our own destiny, our own path, our own purpose. We're not in control of ourselves. We're allowing outside forces to puppet us. And if we're there, then we don't have a lot of life in our journey with this 8, and we're not listening to the messages coming in from above, and we're going to make mistakes. We're not going to be as clear. We're going to cut down journeys before they're completed. We're not going to be able to see the life that's blooming on them. We're not listening to our highest guidance. Like we're not living a full life when we're in that position of believing that I can't be happy in this world and content in this world and fulfilled in this world unless everybody wakes up, unless my neighbor thinks like I do, unless everybody loves Trump, unless Trump does what we expect him to, unless the world governments are perfect, unless Jesus is coming back to save us. We're not living a full life. We're not connecting to spirit. We're unable to see the growth and the beauty that's in front of us. And we're allowing ourselves to be manipulated. So we're not in control of anything. And I think for us humans, that's what we're meant to be doing here. We're meant to be removing ourselves from that, reasoning with our ego, looking within, connecting to spirit, finding our true authentic self, and creating our worlds the way we choose rather than being manipulated by outside forces. That's my humble opinion. So I also believe that many people are doing exactly what I just said. Many people are not. I believe this to be true. I don't know if it is or not, but in my heart, I feel like even though you hear a lot of the disappointment, and I think that's just a hard piece of humanity to drop. I think it's work for humanity to drop that piece of seeking something from outside of ourselves. And so that's a piece of work that we have to continue on. But I also truly believe in my heart that even though that's a place that we are maybe struggling with, having a lot of growing pains with, I believe more and more people are fulfilling themselves from the inside. And really working to live their happiest, most authentic lives and not allow themselves so much to be so manipulated by the outside world. And we did get yesterday that people are saying, I'm tired of looking at stuff that doesn't make me feel good. I'm going to create my own joy. We got that in a reading yesterday. That is a vibrational shift. And I don't think that Spirit was just blowing smoke up my ass to make me feel good, because I always say, whether I like the answer or not, they know my intention is I only want the truth. Because I don't want to be manipulated. And even when I'm receiving messages like that via the cards, and my intentions have been made clear, I always say to you folks, take what resonates. Toss the rest. Because at the end of the day, I believe that your intuition and you pulling into your heart space and you connecting into source energy and you expanding and you receiving your messages for you and your purpose and your life path is more important than what I'm getting here. Do you know what I'm saying? So I think you all know what I'm saying. At the end of the day, I trust my team. I trust the messages I'm getting. And that is because I've been working with my team in my way my whole life. They know me. I know them. We've been working together for a long time. But at the end, and I'm on a particular life path. I have a particular purpose in this world. May be different than yours. Not that many of us don't have some of the same purposes, but you know what I'm saying? Might be different than yours. And so perhaps you need to hear this message, but perhaps there's something else that you need to hear too. And if you're working to tap in and do that, then you can be working directly with your team and your highest version of self and creator, and you can get the messages that you need for your path and your life purpose. Am I making sense? Anyway, blah, blah, blah. Lori's babbled and babbled, as per the usual, right? So let's just get a look, because I truly believe that humanity is growing, and I truly believe more and more people are pulling out of that being puppeted, that being directed, that being led like sheep. And more people are learning how to just become, which is what we're all here doing, becoming. And they're going within and they're seeking their happiness, and they're taking their power back, and they're getting up off their duffs when they're really moved and passionate to do so. And though I think humanity may be going through growing pains and struggling with this lesson of pulling out of this savior complex, I believe we're growing in that area. I do believe we're having growth there. And yesterday's reading, for me personally, that's what I started out saying. We got the Christmas decorations going up, but can you tell me, why? What's going on with people? And what we saw was that people are tired of the bullshit, and they're not going to keep looking at what doesn't make them feel good. They're taking the power back by mending their own tree of life and connecting and creating their own joy. That's what I saw. That's what I'm talking about today. We may be struggling because we're going through our growing pains. Like, we learn to crawl before we walk, right? We learn to walk before we run, and we're going to stumble. But I believe we're growing in that direction. And that's what this vibrational shift is about. And this is, to me, where humanity is going. We're going to be leaving these old 3D ideologies behind eventually. And we're lifting in consciousness and vibration and heart-centered spaces. And we're connecting more into our creator and our teams and our highest self. And we're becoming what we always were meant to be. which is our truly magical, amazing beings. But we have to get there. We're on a path to get there. We have to grow and move towards that. I mean, and I think that's what we're doing. And I believe we are struggling in that area because that's an old ideology that was so driven into all of us. Look outside of ourselves to save you. Go to church and expect your pastor to be your connection to God. Confess your sins to a priest rather than sitting there and just confessing your bullshit to God. God sees it all anyway. So really that confession is for you. It's to say it. Because God already knows. It's for you to say it, get it out there, acknowledge, admit what you've done, so that then you can begin to heal it and dissect it and make a conscious change to do things different next time. But it's always looking outside of ourselves. Looking outside of ourselves for our local representatives. Looking outside of ourselves for our governors. Looking outside of ourselves for Congress and Senate and the president, and however any country does it. Looking outside of ourselves for our connection to our Creator. I believe this is something we're struggling with and having growing pains with, but I also believe that we're doing it. I believe we're doing it, I don't know. And I think yesterday's reading showed us that. So I would just like a little, a 7-card spread showing us, where we're at in our growth pattern as far as becoming, truly more 5D. That is a more 5D. That's a higher consciousness. And as far as our growth for humanity, in our consciousness rising and our heart centers opening and becoming more in alignment with what we actually are rather than what we've been told we are. I would like to see the pathway and the story around that as far as where we're at right now. Overall, I know there are people that are far more excelled than others and whatnot, but if you take it all and put it in a little package and wrap it up, can you show me where we're at as a collective at this point in our journey here? Please and thank you, with a 7-card spread. One more. We're going to cut them. And I'll arrange the layout once I've got it done. Okay, guys? Where are we at, you guys? Let me pull you back. Maybe push you down. And put that up a little bit. I think you can see it. Let me get some coffee. Let's look at the energy that's driving our pathway that we're talking about, where we're at in our growth, and that also impacts and influences the story around it, okay? So the energy that's getting us to this place is chaos. It's the 5 of Pentacles, and it is the chaos, and we keep getting told this all the time. we have to go through this chaos and this BS so that the change is made, okay? So the energy that's helping us in our growth is all of this chaos that we're experiencing. And in this 5, we're using the Deviant Moon deck. So in this 5 of Pentacles, it's Pentacles, so it's our earth plane. And, you know, to me, this is a system because those pentacles, so it represents a bit of a system to me, okay? Because those pentacles are in the shape sort of a cross. And it's also like you've got the smaller pentacle down here and it goes up and then it's building, and then there's the full control at the top. And there's an eyeball here kind of watching humanity. All right? And then humanity is kind of like, what is going on here? They're still a bit sleepy. One eye is blinded and one eye is just starting to wake up, but they've woken up enough so they're creeping about, trying to figure out what is going on. Are we being watched? Are we being manipulated? Are we being overpowered? What's going on here on the earth plane to us, right? Via those things that hold power on the earth plane, all right? So the energy is, I mean, she's blinded because she's hypnotized. I don't know if you can see it. If you're all tarot readers and you get the Deviant Moon deck and you start looking at them, you'll see, when I start talking about it, you'll see everything that I'm pointing out. But so humanity had been hypnotized and very much asleep for a long time. In my humble opinion, as free will beings, souls, we agreed to come in, drop into this chaos and this madness to experience that. That gives our soul experience. That's my humble opinion. So we agreed to drop in and do this, in my humble opinion, because I just don't align with the victim mentality. This was done to us, we're trapped, blah, blah, blah. That's victim bullshit. And as long as we hold on to the victim mentality, we're not growing. That's not growth, in my opinion. So, anyway, we've been experiencing a time where we were kind of hypnotized. We were, you know, under sort of a hypnotism of an ideology that may have been pushed on us by the powers that be, right? And, you know, those powers that be did this as a way to kind of control us. But humanity is waking up, and though it may be slow for some, they're waking up and they're starting to take a look at things. Even with one eye still hypnotized and one eye half closed, they're looking at things. They're waking up. It's a process that you cannot stop. And so that process is going to feel like a bit of chaos. So right now we're in the process of the chaos when it comes to us moving from these old ideologies of victimhood, seeking power outside of ourselves rather than from within, and all of the stuff that we've just said. The chaos has to happen. The awakening has to happen. The chaos is creating the awakening. For some, it may be slower than others, but it's happening. Now, that's the energy that's driving our pathway, okay? And just above that, the sun. So the sun is, for me, because I read intuitively, not traditionally, but I read intuitively. So every deck means something different. I see something different in every card, right? But for me, in this deck, in the Deviant Moon deck with the sun, it's the duality, right? We're coming to a place where the duality is able to come together and love and dance and rejoice with one another, because we don't care if you think like we think. We don't need to be everybody the same shade of gray with the same ideologies. We're truly coming to a place where we're going to be able to embrace the dualities, where there's not going to be all of this disconnect because you voted for Trump and you voted for whoever and you voted for whoever. So now we're 3 different groups and we hate each other. We're going through an awakening so that we can shift out of that 3D mindset and come to a place of we can all love and celebrate one another regardless of what the dualities are, as long as we stay in a place of love, right? So obviously we're not going to sit and celebrate with a serial killer. We can love that serial killer, but we're going to create a safe society where that serial killer has been taken out of our society and taken care of, because we, the people that aren't serial killers, deserve a safe space. So it's not saying that we have to embrace that which creates and does monstrous things. But for the everyday ordinary person, we can get along, celebrate each other, love each other, and yes, come together and not be saying I can't have Thanksgiving with you because you think different than me, right? Now, as far as the serial killer, we are going to be elevating to a place where we still love and have love for that, even though that person may not have love for humanity. They're missing something. They've had something broken inside of them so that they stopped feeling love or whatever. We're moving into a place where we're going to have love for everything. Doesn't mean that we have to condone it or tolerate it, but we're going to have much more love and compassion for all dualities, all things, right? Because that's my ace. And that Ace of Cups is truly all about divine love and being more healed emotionally and coming into our divine gifts. I mean, she's got her wings. She can fly. She loves. Her eyes aren't hypnotized. They're sparkling with the glow of spirit. She's very connected to her intuition. It's a different type of feeling, right? So we are going there, and we're going there through great change. But right now, the energy that surrounds us is chaos to get us there. And we're starting anew, you guys, with this Ace of Cups. We're absolutely starting anew. And across from that, we're still struggling. We are still struggling. Because this is a place of duality. And so not everybody's using their discernment yet. And they're listening to lies. And the universe says, there's dark things whispering to us. There is. And our intuitions have really been dumbed down and kind of laying dead on the bed. Part of this chaos is going to wake up the intuition. And, you know, people are going to be really uncomfortable listening to the lies and the torment and the whispering of dark things. Discomfort, though, does create change. It does. Like, how many of you have gone through a dark night of the soul? It's so uncomfortable, you want to die. You feel like you are dying. But boy, doesn't that create some change within us, right? Some really good positive change. So, you know, it's almost like we're being initiated by fire right now. Discomfort, chaos, all of those things. But it's happening to bring us to a better place, okay? So we're still very much in the process of a lot of growth. So many people, unfortunately, during this time of chaos that we're going through, are still listening to the darker things, the darker entities. They're believing the lies. They're staying caught up in the lies, and they're not letting their intuition kind of guide them. Above that, we do have that Six of Swords. That is more ego, thoughts, words, whatever, right? The vibration is love. So we're going through this whole process. We are being loved from above. That's a 6. That's birthing something new. That's divine love when it's taken to the positive. And that's what we're talking about today. We're not talking about the dark things that have inverted everything, right? To everything there is the polar opposite. We're not talking about the inversion of everything. We're talking about the positive. So that's birthing new things. That's divine love. Through these lies and this whispering, people's egos have really gotten huge, huge. Everybody feels as if they're alone on this journey. And those swords, you guys, are all tipped sideways. So that feeling of being alone isn't true. That's the ego guiding us, making us all feel so alone. And that's the dark things whispering to us. So let's keep that in mind on our journey, because I know that we all feel... I've been blessed. I have people in my life that are awake, and I've always kind of been blessed. My dad was the OG conspiracy theorist. My mom was very awake, except for in that medical field. You know, I grew up with a bunch of rebels, and rebels tend to be more open-minded because they want to kind of shun the systems anyways. So, you know, my husband was very awake. My son is very awake. My boyfriend is very awake. So I'm really blessed, but I know that a lot of people feel very alone. And what the universe is telling us here is that's a lie. That's the ego talking. It's not true that we're alone on this journey. That's our ego. So in this journey of growth and change, taming our ego is really important. And I've talked about that quite a bit on this channel, the taming of the ego. Now, when we get back to our path here, you know, this is what we're going to. We're going to a place of harmony. You can call this the golden age, where people are more loving, can come together. They're not so concerned with whether you look like me, act like me, think like me, whatever. It's really a more heart-centered way of being. But just above that, we have this 8. We have the 8. And the 8 of Swords for this, you can see this woman's kind of going through a change because she has all of her thoughts and ideologies lined up. Very rigid, very pointy. And she's got them lined up, and this has been what she feels secure in, her thoughts and her ideologies. Right? And then you have this moon. All of a sudden, the crown is opening up, and the moon is blowing down on that crown. And she's getting information now via a higher place, that Christed consciousness, right? That higher perspective. And it's so uncomfortable that she's about ready to fall out the window and literally land on her little ideologies that she's stacked up she's lined up very precisely. They're very pointed. They're going to hurt her. So they're telling us that we're going to see an immense amount of breakdowns. You know, we've all been through the dark night of the soul. I imagine, I mean, that's a lot of assuming, right? But I imagine that the people on this channel who are pretty spiritual have been through at least one dark night of the soul. Some of us have been through many. I don't think it's something that you can just check off. You know what I mean? I think with our growth, they can get a little easier. I think they start out, even though they feel bad, our first one might not feel quite as bad as maybe the second one. But I think that that's the universe helping us to not give up and kill ourselves during it, honestly. And then the second one might feel a little worse, but we've gained experience and some tools. So that second one might be terrible, we thought the first one was bad enough. This one's even worse, but we've gained experience, knowledge, know-how, tools. That third one might feel like we quite literally are dying, don't know how we're going to get out of it, but somehow we do. We've gained more experience, knowledge, tools. I don't think you can check these things off. I think it's a path and a purpose and whatever we've agreed to help us learn on our way. But I do believe that humanity as a whole has been going through a very dark night of the soul, honestly, for a long time, but I think it got amped up in 2020. And that's part of this process, is opening that crown may not be comfortable to people, falling on these ideologies that they've held true and so solid for so long, and realizing how damaging some of those ideologies might be is going to be part of the process, you guys. Feeling alone, feeling like we're all alone, letting our ego explode, falling on old ideologies, having sort of a breakdown. It's part of the process, and we may view this happening to other people, and it could very well be happening to us. Maybe we're climbing out of it. Maybe it's just starting to happen now. Who knows? But it's part of this process of great change that we're going through. Above our Ace of Cups, we have, look at all the swords. This is really in order to get into the love vibration and to be connecting to a place of higher, that Christed consciousness. Our mind, we really have to tame this ego. It's the ego that keeps us stuck. It's that mind. It's your brain. It's your programming. It's your ideologies. It's the things that we're just so stuck in that we say, nope. And I mean, I know people that have been told this thing is true, and they hold so tight to that. And that is true to them in their ideologies. And they hold it as sacred truth, even though they don't know. They don't know that that's true. That's only been told to them by somebody who told somebody who's told somebody who's taught others, who's really just drilled that into us. We don't know that that's true. We all have to let go of these ideologies and be a little more connected, a little more open, a little less rigid, a lot more discerning. Stop letting our egos say you're all alone, you're on your own, you're all alone. Pull back into this heart center, you guys. This is a journey that's going to take a lot of emotional work. So it's discovering ourselves and opening our heart and moving that ego out of the way and going through these spells where, a total breakdown of the old ideologies and connecting more into the higher consciousness, the Christed grid, the Christed consciousness. And remember, as above, so below. I mean, that Christed consciousness isn't something that we're reaching for. It's all around us. It comes through us. We're washed in it. We have it in us. It's something that we can expand upon. It's here on the earth. It's not just out there somewhere. It's within all of us. But getting rid of these ideologies and these rigid belief systems and allowing ourselves to be manipulated via darker things, believe in lies, not using discernment, kind of always feeling like the victim. I'm all alone. No one understands. It's only me out here. All of this has to go to the wayside. And it is, right? So and then we get that ego moved out of the way. We're tapped into that highest, those higher perspectives, that higher vibration, that love vibration, that Christed grid, that Christed consciousness. And we start doing a little work to balance ourselves emotionally. And that's darkness. You got to go through the darkness to do that. You really do. You have to walk in the dark to figure out what you're going to hold on to, what you'll keep, what you're deserving of emotionally, what you believe in, what fills you up, and what has been weighing you down, what you're releasing. And so we're going through this big process. And we're not done, we're still we're still in the throes of chaos to get us there. So, you know, when we see that our journey is still we still have so much growth to do, and we're able to receive a message like yesterday, like people are putting shit aside in the midst of this chaos that's reigning. You know that we're lifting. We were told that we are rising in vibration and people are shifting and changing. And this is just part of the process. So as we hear, I'm disappointed in Trump, just hold compassion for them. And stay focused. Don't allow their ideologies to reel you in so that now you're disappointed in Trump instead of feeling the fulfillment and the happiness from within. Don't allow other people's words, ideologies, thoughts, and what they claim to be fact to get you into a place of fear. Don't allow other people saying that you conservatives all need to die to make you feel like you're alone, right? Keep tapping in. Don't let your ideologies or people's words or thoughts or your own words or thoughts or training rule you. Do the emotional work. Go through the darkness so that we can get to the light. It's on each one of us individually to do our own work. But humanity is going to a place where we are going to be celebrating a much more balanced way of being, a much more joyful way of being. I say balanced because you've got the sign of the twins there, right? You know, twins are usually, they look alike, but they're polar opposites, and they love each other deeply if they're not all screwed up and have been pitted against each other to hate each other or whatever. There's usually this wonderful heart connection, this soul connection with them, even though they're polar opposites, right? So that's where we're moving towards, a heart connection, a soul connection, the joy vibration, abundance, the golden age. But we're going through our growing pains. So for each one of us to just continue on our path to get us here is really important. And it's coming via chaos, but also love. You know, it's like when your father says, what you did was really, really wrong, and you knew better, and we've talked about this, and so now you're going to be punished. And this punishment isn't going to feel good to you, but it's part of a consequence, and it's going to help shape you, right? I'm holding you to account, and it's going to help shape you. This chaos that we're under right now is helping to shape us. Does that make sense? All right, so, and we have started anew. They're already saying, we have started anew. That love vibration is coming in. We are going through a vibrational shift. That's been reiterated here with the first card that begins the story showing us the Ace of Cups, which is the love vibration. It's just that we still have some work to do. So don't get discouraged, you guys. Stay on point and on path with yourselves. And know that, you know, we are on the right trajectory. And things are shifting. And this is a process. And it's going to be different for everyone. And, you know, rather than looking outside of ourselves and getting irritated with people or whatever, go back into within and say, why are my ideologies, thoughts, words, why am I being so affected by what this person has done, thinks, whatever? Where am I so rigid that I can look at myself and kind of clear out some of this ego and maybe tap more into my heart and my intuition? All right, so did I do a pretty good job understanding the message that's being brought forth to us about the changes that we're going through, the vibrational shift, what that looks like, and the fact that we are growing, but we are still in this place of chaos, which is pushing us pretty much over the brink to force us into a bit of change. It's what's creating the change. Did I do a pretty good job in bringing forth that message? Please and thank you with one card. We'll cut them. The Hanged Man. So that's my higher arcana. That's a big yes. That's a big yes. But the Hanged Man secondary message, you guys, is enlightenment. And so that's also a message here. Like, humanity is going through a period of enlightenment. And his legs are kind of in the shape of a 4, right? And 4 is a physical action, the physical work that helps to bring some balance in. Now, if you think of the chaos that we're going through, 5 is chaos, and they give us this 4, it means that it's kind of on all of us to create a semblance of balance within this chaos individually, each one of us. So it's up to us to work to balance ourselves during this chaos and to pull in that love and to allow that intuition to come in and to bring in that enlightenment, okay? And notice he's got a clock hanging off of his heel. No for every single person, because every person has had different ideologies drilled into them, different brainwashing that they've undergone, different training and programming. For each person, it's in their own time, okay? So it's in each individual's own time. So don't focus on what other people are doing. Focus on what you're doing in your own time, right? And then we have 10, 11, 12. 1 plus 2 equals 3. 3 is joy. Keep yourself in the joy vibration. 3 is the Trinity. Keep working on your mind, spirit, and body, right? 3 is a wonderful number. And so just keep embracing that while doing the work to create a semblance of balance within your own life, in your own mind, your own spirit, your own body, your own home. Be still, because the Hanged Man is being still so that he can be enlightened. Take time for stillness and know that you're doing it on your time, I'm doing it on mine, and everybody else is doing it on their time. But honestly, where we're heading is to that place of that golden age where we are in a place of that joy vibration, that love vibration, that joy vibration, that love vibration, right? And where we're living from a place more of our heart and our souls authentically. But we're in a process right now. So let's just stay focused on our own individual journey and let everybody else go through theirs. And keep sending love and light and healing and joy out into the universe. And you know, I mean, it feels good to do that. So it's good for us and it feels good to do it. It just does. So, I don't know. That's where we're at, you guys. I mean, it's just where we're at. And we agreed to come here and bear witness to all of this. Isn't that cool? Isn't that cool? That we're here for a time of great growth and expansion and change. I mean, that's really cool. That's really cool. So I hope that you found some value in this reading, and know that I love you all very much. And I hope that you have an amazing, beautiful day and that you've had a beautiful week. Know that I am thinking of all of you that are grieving. You probably hear the background of that beeping noise. I have to pause you and go put some pellets in my pellet stove. Hold right on, I'll be right back.